somehow we got this idea that pleasure must be wrong. That there's no way that God is actually looking at us thinking that we'd actually want to have fun, to be joyful, to enjoy pleasure. Like there's no way, because we think, no. All he wants is our duty, our responsibility, our obligations. That's what he wants.
That's good.
But do you think that's the extent of the life that God actually desires for you? A life devoid of pleasure and fun. As you continue into the New Testament, especially when you get to the Gospel of Luke, if you've ever read that, I think some people have described it more cleverly than me. They say, in nearly the whole book, Jesus is either going to a meal, he's at a meal, or he left a meal. And if he's not doing one of those three things, he's talking about a meal. In the parables, he introduces a parable where he's talking about this great banquet where people are all invited to. Then the parable that nearly everybody knows, the prodigal son, how does it end? With a party, with great food and dancing. Like this is what we see going again through there, and on it goes. You will. And one of the things is we tend to remove ourselves. There used to be a statistic, I don't know how it applies to Europe, but there was a statistic that within 6 months of a person having given their life to Jesus, sort of begin their Christian walk, their following Jesus, within 6 months, they had no friends outside of church. We tend to remove ourselves so much that we have no relationship with anybody else. And we take our holiness so seriously that we become irrelevant to anybody else. The problem is that holiness is not about being disconnected with reality and real people. Holiness does not equal seriousness. In fact, seriousness alone, there's a time and place for it, seriousness alone is not what God desires of you. God has given us the sense of taste, touch, smell, the response of laughter, the ability to create, eyes to gaze with wonder upon the earth, minds to imagine. Yes, our imagination is a gift of God and created by him. And as much as you enjoy these things, they bring a smile to his face. You know, followers of Jesus, we're supposed to be full of joy, but instead we act very serious, many of us, while explaining joy in sort of like almost quasi-spiritual terms. Like we'll almost refer to it in the abstract to make excuses for the fact that we're actually not experiencing the fullness of joy as we should.
That's good.
So like, yes, but it's theoretical, or it's figurative, and yes, I am actually very, very joyful. The God who sits on his Olympian throne, looking down on us with a frown, expecting us to act purely out of obligation, duty, and responsibility, while also being angry at us for enjoying the gifts he's given to us, is not the God of Scripture. Because we are living in the right relationship context to enjoy the pleasures that God has created for us. We are free to enjoy them, and to enjoy them the way that they were created to be enjoyed. It's not pleasure that we need to fear. It's the alienation from God that corrupts and distorts how we interact with them that we need to fear. Because when they are distorted, they become dangerous. When they have no compass, they are dangerous. Pleasure divorced from God will always be dangerous. But pleasure, when experienced rightly, will always lead to better relationship with God and others. And a Christian life that is focused purely on ministry, service, sacrifice, and worship, but neglects the joy of a relationship with God, will become a moralistic and duty-bound life, and that person will have a very difficult time developing a close, intimate relationship with God. Because a playful attitude lies at the heart of every close relationship. Let the pleasures and the experiences that God has given you remind you of him, rather than trying to keep them separate. Fill our minds with what it looks like in the right context, in the right way. Pleasure is not the problem. Pleasure separated from God is. Pleasure divorced from God is dangerous. But pleasure, when experienced rightly, will always lead to a better relationship with God and with others.